All right, so this is video 3 for the STAR system of sight reading music. I wasn't able to complete my thought on the accidentals, so I wrote those out. A flat lowers the tone a half step, a sharp raises the tone a half step, and a natural sign cancels the flats and sharps. It's really important that we know the difference, especially between the sharp sign and the natural sign, because a lot of people get those confused. You have to know the difference. The sharp sign looks like the pound sign, hashtag, and then the natural symbol looks kind of crazy, okay? So it looks kind of like 7 this way and an L that way, okay? So that's the naturals. We're going to go to the next one, which is the R. R stands for repeats. So there's no definition for repeats. It's just the different types of repeats that we have in music. Of course, the most common repeat is the repeat sign, which is a double bar line with 2 dots in front of it. And that means repeat to the beginning or to the previous sign. Because you may have a symbol like this that you repeat back to, all right? So that's one. Another one that means the same thing almost is D.C, which means da kappa, which means to go back to the beginning. And then we have another one that is a D.S, which means dal segno, which means go to the sign. And the sign looks like an S with a slash in it and a couple dots. Go to the sign. Most of the time, or a lot of the times, when you see the DS, it'll say DS al coda, which means go back to the sign and then take the coda. We see that a lot in music, but we're not talking about the coda right now. We're talking about the DS. Go back to the sign. And then we have another type of repeat, which is usually seen by percussionists, but sometimes we'll see it as well. And it looks like kind of like a percent sign. You have a dot slash dot. And that means to repeat the previous measure. Okay, now what we want to do is get along to the symbols in music that we see. And there are several symbols that we have not talked about yet. And some of those are a caesura. Looks kind of like railroad tracks. Okay? Caesura. It means to stop. It's a momentary pause in music. We have a fermata. Also known as the bird's eye by people. It means to watch the director, hold longer. The most important thing is to look at the director to figure out how long that's going to be. You have your crescendos to get louder, your decrescendos to get softer. So we have crescendo to get louder, decrescendo to get softer. Okay, we had the sign. I talked for a moment about the coda. So when there's a coda, there'll be a little target, and then there'll be a target in the music while you're going, and there'll be a target at the bottom, and be added music at the end of the added section at the end of the music. Okay? Coda. Added section at the end of the music. And finally, there's probably some more, but finally it's going to be the breath mark, which looks like an apostrophe, and it tells you where to take a breath.